pleased and honored to present the key to the County of Bergen that I know will open many, many doors, but many, many memories for you, for the Greek community, and I want to thank you for being here and being part of this celebration today. Thank you so much. We join with thousands of Greek and Greek Americans in Bergen County and millions of Greeks across the globe in celebrating March 25th as Greek Independence Day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, James J. Tedesco III, Executive of the County of Bergen in the state of New Jersey, do hereby recognize and celebrate March 25th, 2018 as Greek Independence Day in Bergen County.
Bonds of friendship. We deeply appreciate the warmth with which the United States of America, this blessed country, has always embraced our community.
So, Bergen County Executive, Mr. Tedesco, County Board freeholders, there are no words to express how proud the representative of the Hellenic Republic is when you see that distinguished members of the Greek American community, they are honored today for their offering in the society of the United States of America, and especially in the Bergen County. There are no words to express this feeling. So, as a keynote speaker, I was told that I have around 60 minutes to make a speech. I will take only 59. So, I would like to thank you very much, and at the same time, congratulate you for organizing this event in commemoration of the Greek Independence Day. All of you. My remarks will be very brief, but it's worth remembering that all the celebration of this day, of the Independence Day in any country, is deep-rooted in the history. Freedom or death. Ελευθερία ή θάνατος. Freedom or death. These are the first words that come in the mind of every Greek in the sound of this date. March 25th. March 25th is the date that our ancestors, back in the 1821, started the revolution. Started the revolution against the Ottoman Empire, a huge empire at that time. May 29th, 1453, Constantinople was under attack by the Turks. Fighting against them, Constantine Paleologos, the last emperor of Byzantium, was killed, and the city passed to the hands of the Turks. The Turkish Sultan Mehmed II captures Constantinople, and a very difficult period, which lasted nearly 400 years, had just started for the Greeks. Many unorganized, though, attempts against the Turks have failed all these years. But on March 25th, the Bishop Germanos of Patras, Palaion Patron Germanos, raised the Greek flag at the monastery of Agia Lavra in Peloponnese, an act that marked as the beginning of the revolution, of the Greek revolution against the Turks. The revolution spread out throughout Peloponnese, first and afterwards in many islands, as Chios. We have a lot of representatives today. It lasted 9 years until the first small, very small part of modern Greece was liberated. The struggle for the liberation of the rest of the land continued with difficulties. In 1864, the Ionian Islands were added to Greece. In 1881, part of Thessaly, in the center of Greece, and then Crete and islands from the Eastern Aegean, and Macedonia in 1913. After World War II, in 1947, the Dodecanese Islands, Dodecanesa, were also returned to Greece from Italy. Our ancestors fought very bravely and died for their and our freedom that we have today. After so many years of sacrifices, Greece was again free. Our national anthem that we're going to hear in a few minutes, and the flag that was raised today outside, have been developed during these years of the revolution. And we are proud of that. Θέλει αρετή και τόλμη η ελευθερία, είπε ο Ανδρέας Κάλπος. Freedom take boldness and virtue. So 25th of March 1821 is a day of inexplicable importance for Greeks and Greek Cypriots. Don't forget that. All over the world. There is one thing that every nation can learn from the modern culture of Greece. And that is that pride in one's heritage is a strong tool of community and identity. And awareness of the sacrifices of one's ancestors is alive, especially in the Greek youth. It doesn't look like it's going to fade into the yellowed pages of unused history books anytime soon. Be sure about that.
Yes.
The 1821 Greek Revolution signifies the importance of the unity of the Greeks in common struggles, defending their freedom, values, and ideals. Western values and ideas, I would add. This message is particularly timely today, as we as Greeks, as Western world, are being called to join our creative forces in order to overcome the challenges we are facing as a nation, as a civilized world, all together. The invaluable support and the invaluable contribution of our large and thriving Greek American community that we are so proud of. It plays a decisive role in this effort. Dear friends, distinguished members of the county, as we are celebrating the Greek Independence Day, at the same time, we pay tribute to the very substantial support and contribution of the numerous American Philhellenes, it was mentioned before, to the success of our revolution. Our two countries, United States of America and Greece, have forged and maintained for many years unbreakable bonds of friendship. We deeply appreciate the warmth with which the United States of America, this blessed country, has always embraced our community. And to this point, allow me to add a few words related to the United States of America especially. The Greeks, as it was said before, were inspired by the American Revolution in 1776. On May 25th, 1821, Petros Mavromichalis, on behalf of the Messenian Congress, sent a letter to the then Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams, asking for moral support. For moral support. It was written in that letter. Your virtuous Americans are close to ours, although a broad sea separates us. Amazing words. We feel you closer than our neighboring countries. And we consider you, Americans, as friends, co-patriots and brothers, because you are fair, because you are philanthropic, because you are brave. Do not deny to help us. On December 3rd, 1822, US President James Monroe, a little bit before the Monroe Doctrine, in his annual address to Congress said, "A strong hope is entertained that the Greeks will recover their independence and assume their equal status among the nations of the earth." With these words, I have nothing more to add. I think there are very strong messages in these words, and I would like to thank you again for organizing this event. And thank you again. I thank this blessed country for what it is offering to the world, to our Greek American community, and to our nation, Greece. Thank you very much.
Crowd, I can't thank you all for being here, and on behalf of the HEPA 5th District, thank you so much for joining us today. Freeholders and Executive Director, thank you so very much. And it's not just our appreciation that we want to tell you about, but this snow, Dimitri was actually very instrumental in arranging this snow, because from this vantage point, we wanted you to feel what it would be like to be on Mount Olympus. So with snow at the heights, with all these Greeks, now you get a sense of the grandeur of that day. So thank you very much, Dimitri. Thank you for everything, not just the snow, but for everything you did. And please, a round of applause for Dimitri for doing such a great job. We've been blessed. We've been blessed in this country, and we've been blessed in Greece for being part of the greatest center of idea creation the world has ever known. Now, I agree that our independence started almost 200 years ago, in the modern sense. But quite realistically, independence and freedom started thousands of years before that, in a small little city-state called Athens. When a small group of people, over a relatively short period of time, ventured and to question what is the ideal. Not just what was given to us, but what we could be, what human beings could aspire to, and what differences the world will be like if we encourage people to be free. That's nothing to be taken lightly. I greatly appreciate and respect all the cultures of our state and of our nation and of the world, because they all have things to share, and their culture, their family values are wonderful. But on top of that, I think we Greeks have something to be even more proud of, because we don't just share folk traditions and tapestries and foods. We have those, of course. But our ancient history is what set the Western world on the course we enjoy today. And we've heard great quotes from our founding fathers, and I'd like to add one to it. Thomas Jefferson said, "To the ancient Greeks we are all indebted for leading us, the colonists, from Gothic darkness." Those are significant words. I think it's a significant meaning. Our country, this great country, perhaps the greatest country in history, based its values on Hellenic values and on Hellenic ideals. And our founding fathers and mothers knew very well what the Greeks spoke about. As a matter of fact, the Dark Ages were ages when Greek ideals didn't dominate. The Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment, the Age of Reason, the colonial America that created our nation were based on Greek ideals. It's something historians know, something we know, and something we must teach not just our children, but the community at large. I feel that our country is all the better with the Greek ideals. Think of what the world would be like without democracy, without equality under the law, isonomia. What a concept that must have been 2,500 years ago, to know that regardless of what money you have, regardless of where you were born, regardless of what you look like, that you could be judged on your merits. It's remarkable. It's a history that we need to embrace, that we need to remember, and we need to promote. With all of our love of other cultures, we need to remember our own. And we need to promote what Hellenism stands for. I'm very afraid, and if you look around the world, I think my fears are unfortunately justified, that if you look to places where Hellenism and Hellenic ideals don't exist, those are countries where we wouldn't want to live. And those are countries where we fear for people's safety and their well-being. So, on behalf of the District 5 AHEPA, of our lodge, and of so many of you who work tirelessly to support these efforts, I want to thank you and commend you. And many times I'm reminded of something my father told me, which paints a great and vivid picture for me, and I'd like to share with you. He would tell me that peoples and nations come and depart from the stage of this earth. The Babylonians and the Assyrians, the Persians and the Hittites have all disappeared into the pages of history. Sand covers the magnificent palaces of Nineveh. Thorns crack the ornate columns of Babylon. Oblivion has captured the grandeur of Carthage. But Hellas, our Hellas, the mother of innovators, demigods, heroes, and thinkers, will forever remain eternal and immortal.